Welcome to the Keeping It Broad podcast, the show that explores the fascinating world of home improvement and renovation. Join hosts James Carlozzi, Tim Pesh, and Mark DeLucia as they share their expertise and insights on the latest trends, products, and their involvement in the industry and community. Let's get into this week's episode.
Welcome to Keeping It Broad, the official podcast of South Broad Paint Home Center in Wallingford, Connecticut. I am Tim Page. That is James Carlozzi over there. And we're going to take a little different angle than what we've talked about in the past. To talk maybe not as much about the industry, James, but we're going to talk about just business, and specifically small business as a whole. Pre-pandemic, pandemic to where we are now. Because COVID was how many years ago now, would you say, probably?
Well, it's been 3 years, I think, right?
It's been 3 years. It's been 3 years.
More than 3 years.
It's been 3 years. And if you would, maybe just touch on a little bit on how the pandemic did or didn't change here.
Well, I think the pandemic changed, the face of everything, really. I mean, out there, I don't think there's anyone that would question whether or not it did or it didn't. I think everyone's lives were affected by it. Pre-pandemic, everything was on the right track. I mean, everyone was busy and doing what they needed to do. And then when it hit, I think there was a fair amount of time where people didn't know what was going on with things. And I think, like all other small businesses, we had to learn to adapt to how we were going to get to our customers, because obviously we have a beautiful showroom, but not many people were going to be coming down to our showroom to come visit and see what we're going to do, because, there was just the fear of what could happen to you if you did, get COVID. There was just the unknown of that.
Or even taking it a step further, not only the showroom that we have here, but the vast majority of stuff that we do at South Broad, it involves being in people's homes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And there's a different element there, too, of,
Yeah, I think initially one of the things that we ended up doing that helped us was that we had people reach out to us and say, if they needed paint or anything like that, we would just drop it off and leave it at their at their driveway or on their front porch or something like that. So we didn't have to have any contact, with people. I think a lot of people supported us too with that, the community and things that they knew that they were home from work because of whatever their situation was. And we were trying to help them with keeping their minds off of, the daily news of what was going on, which was, pretty horrific.
Pretty horrific.
Yeah, I mean,
I remember times where customers called the stores and would say, "Hey, I'm coming in to get a gallon of paint. Please leave it out by the front door." And we would ring the credit card, and we would leave the gallon of paint right outside of our double doors here, and the customer would come pick it up. That is all behind us now, and that's been about 3 years. But there are practices that are probably in place now that might not have been 3 years ago. First of all, we deliver.
Tim, I hope a lot of the practices that are in place now that are more there, like people washing their hands, were always in place. I feel like you should have always been washing your hands no matter what, whether it was the pandemic or not.
Facts.
I feel like there's a lot more of the signs out there everywhere, like just wash your hands. Like you were never supposed to do that before, I guess. I don't know.
Only McDonald's employees, because that's always in the bathroom.
That was a very weird thing that they had to tell people to wash your hands.
It was probably the cleanest that the world has been in a very, very long time, possibly. Maybe. I don't know. But even here locally, that we even as simple as delivering product. We make deliveries. We bring it to job sites. We bring stuff to people's homes.
Yeah.
And sure, we were doing
and we had to adapt even otherwise. I mean, besides the paint, kitchens, bathrooms. We did a lot of I can't think of what the
kitchens, bathrooms, paint.
No, when you're the visual. I'm drawing a
renderings.
Blank. No, when you're visually looking at somebody. We have our producer here making a mockery of what I'm talking about, and I'm trying to figure out the word. I can't think of it, and it's a very popular word when somebody's on the other end of the country and you want to visualize them on your computer, and I can't think of
Skype,
Zoom. There we go. Skype, all that good stuff.
You don't have to be on the other side of the country.
I'm sure I'm going to get an email now from Zoom and Skype about why the hell I don't know what they're talking about.
Right from the Kitchen Magician. Bam,
yes, there you go. Dropped the ball on that one.
There was a lot of it.
So there was a lot of that we had, that we were doing, and trying to help people just go through and get through whether they had started kitchen renovations or they wanted to start doing things.
Well,
and then even that with materials and stuff. I mean, there's such a shortage of materials, and lead times on things were just so long. I mean, we've always followed a practice that we don't want to start doing a renovation in your home until we have everything in our warehouse. We've tried to follow that guideline, especially
was
since
that
the pandemic.
because of COVID started that, or
No, it was a little bit before, because there would be no reason really to really start ripping out your kitchen, like tomorrow if I don't have the cabinets coming for 6 weeks. That doesn't make sense to do that.
Right.
Although you do hear that out there.
during the height of the pandemic, what were some of the craziest lead times that you were getting for cabinets? Let's say I come in to get a cabinet today.
Some of the companies were as far out as 20 weeks, 18 to 20 weeks on some of them. And those weren't like custom cabinetry or anything. Those were kind of box things on some of them. Like I said, I think it affected everybody though. I don't, I no offense or anything to any of the manufacturers out there. I mean, I think we were all in the same boat, just trying to help each other, trying to figure it out and surface through it. And there was a lot of cogs that were just disrupted when that was going on.
And not only the material shortage, but let's say you are 20 weeks out on a kitchen, and last I checked there were 52 weeks in a year. But let's say you are 20 weeks out on a kitchen, that's hoping everything does show up on that 20th week, and that's also another
right. There was some issues with that too, that you would be told 16 weeks, 18 weeks, and then the 16th, 18th week you get an email saying it's going to be another 6 weeks.
Were there moments? As you're the business owner? There must have been some hot under the collar moments of just being a small business owner during COVID, and to come out of the other side, which is a testament to this too. But
I think early on, I think Mark and I, we didn't know what was going to happen. Early on, those first the beginning of March. I mean, there was probably about 2 weeks where just nothing was happening. We were waiting for, I think, the state to make a decision on whether we were going to be open or it was just emergency people, what was happening. And I think the unknown of that was what it was. But Mark and I, we just made some decisions and said, listen, we got to keep going forward. And when all those announcements came out, that we just rolled with the punches. I think we do a good job of rolling with the punches. We've, even when we first started and things like that, from our business has changed 3 or 4 times now in 7 years on where we've gone. Our model has changed. I think you have to adapt as a small business owner. You have to know what your consumers are looking for and adapt to the change and be able to make that change.
You've told me before that the test of to have skin in the game and the validity of a small business is after an X amount of years. I forget whatever that is, but there's a number on it. And you almost got had a baptism by fire, because you had the double whammy of you start a new business and then 3 or 4 years down the road of like trying to establish yourself, all of a sudden the world shuts down again. Yeah. So you almost had 2 hurdles to jump.
Yeah, I think that after 3 or 4 years of being in business, you pretty much are comfortable and you've kind of know your market, and then the pandemic hit, and it kind of just readjusted everything in the way that we had to do things and the way that the world had to do things, for that matter.
And as you said earlier, that is old news. Thank God, that is old news now. That COVID, that is 3 years ago, and we have made it through the other side. And it's a testament to the community support that we've had. That people throughout whatever's going on outside those doors, that when people have the means to do a project in their home, that they are turning to South Broad, and we appreciate the community support that we've had over the past not only 3 years, but 7 years
very
total. We are here because of all of you. I certainly am. I certainly am. And then just finally, what advice would you give to maybe other small business owners? Let's say the company's got 4 employees or 10 employees, whatever it is, in terms of just perseverance, in terms of self-sacrificing, perseverance, and pressing on. If you could able to speak to that at all.
So I think that the biggest thing is just to go with what you know on that. Kind of get away from some of the rhetoric and the people. If you have a vision or an idea on what you want your business to accomplish, just go with it. It's very likely it's going to succeed in the way that you want it to do. I would avoid trying to worry about, the monetary end of stuff. Just go with your vision. Just go with what it is, and everything will fall into place.
Listen, we are grateful to be on the other side of this, as we said, and we have fun with what we do, but we can't do what we do without the customers that we've had and have over the years. So listen, if you
Thank you for
if
all
you've
of the
done-
customers. Thank
if
you.
you've done business,
100%.
you know, we just to put it out there and state the obvious, we're doing this for, to promote our business and to promote South Broad. But as much as we love new customers, we wouldn't be here for the customers that have done business with us. So if you spent $1 at South Broad over the past 7 years, thank you for that. You are a part of the reason that we are here, and on to the next 7. So for James Carlozzi, I am Tim Page. Thanks for hanging out with us today.